While most daily newspapers are struggling to find a new financial model, the weeklies are surviving, and some are even thriving. We took a trip to Manasquan to visit the local weekly newspaper, the CoastStar. Managing editor Kelly Rizzetta sat down to explain the organized chaos of the weekly paper.
So what do you think of editing versus reporting? What are the differences?
Well, okay, so I was thinking about this before, and it's, I would say that, a good editor, a good reporter, they both need elements of the other person's job. So I would say that the reporter is your on the ground person, you're quick thinker, you're on the, you need to be able to think on their feet, you need to kind of deal with those sea changes and stuff like that. And obviously a good reporter will have a little bit of an editor's mindset where they're thinking big picture, but the main difference, I would say, is that it's the editor's job to really kind of envision the paper as a whole, think broader for the stories. Like when the reporter comes back with a story, it's the editor's job to say, well, put that in context, or, okay, so you covered this particular car crash, and that's great that you were able to get all those details and get really creative with it, but you know what, let's think of a way where we could put that in context. How many crashes are there, every year at that intersection? Is it a problem? Let's talk to the police in town, find out stuff about that. That I would say is the main difference, the big picture stuff versus the quick on the ground, get all the details, comprehensive job of the reporter.
Did you ever cover any controversial stories?
Okay, with local news, we were talking about this before a little bit too. I think everything's controversial because there's somebody you're going to tick off about something, and that's, when I started the Star News Group, that's my editor said, if somebody's not, ticked about something you're writing, then you're not doing your job. So, little stuff, yeah, I can't say that I've had anything that's, divided the town or caused protests in the street, but it's those little things every day. People don't like the way they're portrayed. People, because when you're dealing with local news, you're really getting into very personal issues with people. So it's that kind of thing. Yeah. Little everyday stuff.
Did you cover anything like really tragic?
Yes, unfortunately. When I started out the Star News Group, I was a reporter with the CoastStar, so the Monmouth County paper, and I think any of you who are familiar, or any of your watchers or viewers here who are familiar with the area, stuff with Manasquan High School, there have been a lot of very tragic youth deaths in the past couple of years. That's actually something that the paper followed pretty closely. And then other than those, there were a couple of really, horrific train accidents that led to fatalities. So that stuff just rips your heart out when you cover that kind of stuff.
Were there any stories that called your ethics into question?
Same thing with the controversial. I'm not going to pretend that we're the New York Times or anything like that. We're not out there, this isn't, I'm not dealing with deep throat or anything like that. It's the little stuff. It's the stuff like you hate a particular councilman. He's just a rude, jerk of a person, but you have to get his side of the story. You have to treat him in that fair and balanced manner that you would treat anybody else. On the editing side, it's our biggest headache every week is letters to the editor, and the things, when you have to consider libel issues and things like that. It's the little stuff, but I think that no matter where you start out as a reporter, you're going to deal with it on those very small, in those very small circumstances first. So yeah, I think you're always balancing, you're always dealing with, especially like I said, with local news and having such an intimate relationship with these people, you're dealing with off the record stuff all the time and protecting your sources, and it comes up more than you would think, actually, for being a small town newspaper.